land of Azuike village, surrounded by lush forests and distant hills, lived Ugo, a poor farmer. He was hardworking but painfully poor. He had a wife named Ezinne, and they had 5 children, 4 girls and a boy. His wife assisted traders in moving their wares in the markets. She also carried goods for buyers, and she got paid for this. She was called Onyibo in the markets. Whenever there was a heavy rainfall in the village, the markets could get very muddy and the roads almost impassable. She would fetch water from the stream and wash the muddy legs of people coming out of the markets. Ugo, on the other hand, was a farmer. He was very hardworking but very poor. Even among the poor, he was described as being poor. He worked as a farmland help as he did not have his own farm. He worked in several farmlands owned by various people. What he earned was quite little, but it still enabled him to feed his family. The people he worked for still took advantage of him, despite the fact that what they were paying him was quite little. After the day's job, they would ask him to come back for his money the next day, and even when he went back, some still did not pay him in the amounts they had earlier bargained for. This made him sad, but he did not have an option but to continue with the work, as it enabled him feed his family, and it also gave him that sense of pride that he was making an honest living. He still remembered his father's favorite saying, "Remember the son of whom you are." He had promised his father that he would abide by that saying and never fail him. Other children laughed at his children because of the level of poverty in his household. When 2 of Ugo's daughters were going to the stream to fetch water for their use one day, a group of girls passed by them and started taunting them. "See them, oh, see them. Poverty they smell." Another girl said, "Which right-thinking man will marry from this type of poverty-stricken family?" The third girl said, "They would definitely have to marry the old palm wine tapper. He matches their level of poverty." To this, all the girls started laughing at them. The laughter echoed in the air as Ada and Chika covered their faces burning with humiliation. They lowered their heads and quickened their steps. They fought back tears, but it was no use. When they reached home, they burst into tears, running into Ezinne's arms. "Mama, why do they hate us so much?" Ada cried, her voice shaking with hurt. "They said no man will ever marry us because we are too poor." Ezinne sighed, stroking her daughter's hair. "My children," she said softly, "the gods of our land sees everything. He will make everything right in his time. Don't let their words break your spirit." "But Mama," Chika whimpered, "how long will we suffer like this?" Ezinne held them close, her heart heavy, but her faith unshaken. "As long as we have each other, we are rich in ways they can't understand." Sometimes younger kids even bullied them under the watchful eyes of their older siblings, and Ugo's daughters dared not to respond as they would be given the beating of their lives. They learned this from previous experiences. In time past, they had tried responding and defending themselves, and they were overpowered and beaten up by some other village children. Ugo and his wife Ezinne always comforted their children and told them that the gods of their land are watching over them and that everything will be right in the right time. Ezinne endured humiliation and insults. She got with grace, but she was usually disturbed and worried whenever it rained, as almost all parts of their roof leaked. The rain poured so hard into their house that they all had to stay awake when it rained at night, and they would be drenched by the rainwater. Ugo was not spared of the humiliation as his friends threw regular jabs at him. "Oh Ugo, how man go survive with this kind of suffering?" one of his friends, Carlo, would say, shaking his head. "Man no fit dey like this forever. You go just walk and nothing to show. You never think of better way to escape this poverty." Ugo would smile weakly, unsure how to respond. His pride in his honest work was the only thing keeping him afloat, but he could not deny the gnawing feeling in his chest, that deep yearning for more, for a way out. One Saturday evening, one of Ugo's friends invited him to a party. They met his other friends there, and they insisted that he must serve them. He was shocked at their request, but he felt he was just helping the celebrants out by doing this. However, by the time they were done eating, he asked him to clear their plates and also wash them up. He was taken aback as they were service boys and girls clearing other tables. The celebrant, who was one of his friends, insisted he had to do it, or he would have to pay for the food and drinks he had. Ugo had to obey, and he cleared the table and washed the plates and cups as he had no money to pay. However, despite the humiliation, Ugo still had fulfillment in his job, as he could still work to provide for his family without having to beg for food. One fateful day, as Ugo returned home from a long day of farm work, he encountered an old woman struggling to carry a bundle of firewood on her back. She looked frail, and the load was too much for her. "Let me help you, Mama," Ugo said kindly, taking the heavy bundle from her. "Thank you, my son," the old woman replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "You are too kind. Most people pass me by without even offering a glance." Ugo smiled. "It's nothing. Let me take it to your house." The journey to her home, deep in the forest, was long, and Ugo was exhausted. Yet he didn't complain. When they finally reached her small hut, the old woman turned to him, her eyes gleaming in the fading light. "Our ancestors will bless you for this," she said, her voice suddenly strong and commanding. "But I will bless you even more." Before Ugo's eyes, the old woman transformed. Her tattered rags became rich, flowing robes, and her bent frame straightened as she revealed herself to be Dibia Wanyoku, the feared and powerful sorceress. Ugo stumbled back, stunned. Who are you?" "I am the great Dibia Wanyoku," she declared, her voice echoing in the quiet forest. "For your kindness, I will reward you with wealth beyond your imagination." She handed Ugo a small black calabash with a gold coin in it, wrapped in a red cloth. "Take this home," she instructed. "Place it in a basket. Cover it with this red wrapper and open it after 3 days. You will find more wealth than you can dream of. But remember, when the time comes, you owe me a sacrifice. There will be no bloodshed, but you must deliver." Ugo, still in shock, stammered, "His sacrifice? But you said no blood will be shed." The Dibia nodded. "No blood you will see, but do not question me. Do as I say, and your fortune will change." When Ugo returned home and told Ezinne what had happened, she was wary. "Are you sure about this, Ugo?" Ezinne asked, her brow furrowed with concern. "Sacrifices. Wealth gained from such promises often come at a high price." "But there will be no bloodshed," Ugo quickly replied. "The Dibia said it herself. We can't remain in this misery forever, Ezinne. This could be our chance." Reluctantly, Ezinne agreed. They followed the Dibia's instructions, placing the calabash in a basket and covering it with a red cloth, which she also gave them. 3 days later, they uncovered the basket and found not one, but 14 identical calabashes, all filled with gold coins. Ezinne gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Ugo, this is real." "We are free, Ezinne," Ugo whispered, tears in his eyes. "We are finally free from poverty." Their lives transformed overnight. With their newfound wealth, life turned around for good for Ugo and his family. Ugo built a beautiful house within a short period, and they no longer worried about the rain pouring through their roof. The different women groups in the village suddenly wanted Ezinne to be a member of their groups. Overnight, she became highly sought after. Their children walked through the village with their heads held high, no longer taunted by others. In fact, all the children in the village wanted to be friends with them. He did not have to farm anymore, as he now had a good problem of not being able to decide on the business to invest in. Eventually, he bought several hectares of land, and he had the largest farm in the village. He also bought the biggest shop in the market for Ezinne, his wife. Ugo and his family automatically moved from ground zero to the mountain top. Their case was a typical example of from grass to grace. Everybody wanted to be their friends. However, people were curious about the sudden wealth. They were apprehensive, and Ugo's friends that had humiliated him severally kept asking him how he came about the wealth. And the whispers of Ugo's sudden wealth spread quickly through the village. One day, his friend Kalu and Uchi visited him, grinning from ear to ear. "Oh boy, how you take make this money now?" Kalu asked, nudging Ugo playfully. "Abeg, drop updates. Hunger dey wire me o." Uche chimed in. "Help your guys now. If you no talk, we help." Ugo smiled but shook his head. "It's not something I can share. It's complicated." His friends laughed, but they sensed his reluctance and left, disappointed. Soon rumors spread that Ugo was being selfish, unwilling to share his newfound fortune. Ugo's friends then termed him selfish. The market leader, Wanyoma, that had not as much as acknowledged Ezinne's greetings when she was helping to carry goods in the market, now courted her friendship. She had often refused to call Ezinne by her name before, but called her Onyibo, which meant load carrier. One day, she came to visit Ezinne at home, and after exchanging pleasantries, she went on in a sober mood. "Nne, your big sister here needs serious help. Biko, show me the way. I need to step up from my present level." Ezinne did not give her the answer she expected, and she went home really disappointed. One night, after about 1 year, Ugo and his wife were in bed. when suddenly he felt an overwhelming presence in his bedroom. He awoke with a start. Standing beside him, her eyes glowing early in the darkness, was Dibia Nwanyukwu. She had come to tell him that it was time for the sacrifice that she had earlier told him about. "It is time," she whispered. "Time for the sacrifice." Ugo's heart raced with fear. What must I do? "Come to my house tomorrow at sunset," the Dibia instructed. "I will give you everything you need to deliver the sacrifice. Remember, there will be no bloodshed." And she also warned him that there are consequences if he fails to come, and that he should not inform anybody about her visits or their discussion. All the while this encounter was going on, his wife was mysteriously in a deep sleep. The next evening, Ugo made his way to the Dibia's house. When she handed him a pouch of powder, "Use this on your only son. Bring him to me within 3 days, or you will lose everything, your wealth and your mind." Ugo returned home, his heart heavy with dread. That night, he tossed and turned in the bed. He stood up and kept pacing around. When Ezinne noticed his distress, she asked, "What's wrong, Ugo? You haven't slept all night." I just have a stomach ache," Ugo lied, his voice shaky. "It will pass." The next day, when Ugo felt nobody was watching him, he asked his only son, Nkem, to follow him for a stroll, his heart pounding with guilt. As they walked along a narrow bush path, Ugo said, "Nkem, walk in front of me." Oblivious to his father's turmoil, Nkem smiled and obeyed. Ugo's hand trembled as he pulled out the pouch of powder and quickly rubbed it on his son's forehead. Nkem collapsed instantly. Fighting back tears, Ugo carried his unconscious son to the Dibia's house. The sorceress, already prepared, set a large pot of water over the fire and began chanting incantations. "Place him in the pot," she commanded. The water began to boil. "Do it now before it's too late." As the Dibia had said, there would be no bloodshed. However, she ticklishly had not told him that the sacrifice would involve taking a human life. Only that there would be no physical blood to see. The water had started to boil, and Ugo was about placing his only son Nkem into the pot of boiling water when they suddenly heard loud noises. It was Ugo's wife and oldest daughter Ada, along with some village vigilante youths. Ugo and the Dibia's mission was aborted. Ugo's daughter had been with her boyfriend at the regular spots under a tree in the bush path when they had noticed Ugo carrying the unconscious Nkem deep into the forest. Ada had quickly run home to inform her mom, while her boyfriend, who was the head of the vigilante youths, had gone to mobilize some of his members. "Let him go," Ada screamed, running to her unconscious brother. "Papa, what have you done?" The vigilante youths quickly restrained Ugo, while one of them ordered Dibia Nwanyukwu, "Wake him up now." The sorceress reluctantly sprinkled water on Nkem, reviving him. His eyes fluttered open, and he grudgingly looked around. They took Ugo and the now conscious child Nkem to the Igwe's palace. They were too scared to arrest the Dibia, as she was known to be very powerful and wicked. When they got to the Igwe's palace, the Igwe asked that the palace medicine man follow the vigilante youths to Dibia Wanyoko's house and arrest her. When they got there, even the hut had vanished. They only saw a large clear portion of land, which was where the hut had been, that the Dibia lived. Legend has it that she disappeared to a distant village and that she had been in existence for centuries. And just as she had disappeared from their land, that had been her pattern when she is caught, perpetrating wickedness wherever she lived. As for Ugo, he was sentenced to life in prison with hard labor. He lived the rest of his days with regrets and in so much pain and shame. The Council of Elders did not hand him over to the police, as he had desecrated their land, and their customs and traditions stipulates that he must be punished on their land in order to appease the gods and to avoid further calamities from befalling their village. The Council of Chiefs passed a verdict that nobody should ever visit him in prison. Though his wife and children never saw him again, they never lacked, as contrary to what Dibiawa and Yugo had said. The wealth never disappeared, and whenever they opened the baskets that contained the black calabashes and gold coins, the calabashes were always full no matter what the money taken out previously. Izine regretted that she did not reject the offer of wealth when Ugo first told her about it. Even though their family never lacked, they were never happy, and the wealth came with a very high and regrettable price. The story of Ugo in Azuike village represents several key lessons: honesty and hard work, staying true to honest labor, even in tough times, is honorable and preferable to seeking shortcuts. Perseverance, enduring hardships with patience and hope can eventually lead to better outcomes. Dangers of desperation. Desperation can lead to poor decisions with serious consequences, as seen in Ugo's choice to accept the sorceress' offer. Greed has a cost. Pursuing wealth at any cost can bring unforeseen dangers, including harm to loved ones. Value of family and support. Family unity and support can save us in times of crisis. Faith and patience. Trust in divine timing. Chukwudini Igwe teaches that real blessings come with patience. Consequences of betraying values. Abandoning one's principles for material gain can lead to downfall, as seen with Ugo's imprisonment. Overall, the story teaches the importance of patience, maintaining one's values, and the dangers of compromising one's integrity for the sake of material gain. It highlights the complexities of human desire, the unpredictability of fate, and the ultimate victory of honesty and family unity. Thank you very much for listening. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. I would like to know the lessons you learned from this story. Kindly let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this story, I'm sure you will enjoy the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.